Well, I liked it, number one, because it was serious. Because, you know, my show is a circus. But this was like, these are real fascinating stories. Horrible stories, but fascinating. And every job I've had has been involved with the human condition, with human behavior, whether I'm being a lawyer or a politician or a journalist or a talk show host, always dealing with people and their issues. And so this was right in that vein, albeit these are crimes. And so I just thought it'd be fascinating to get involved. And again, when someone comes and asks to do something and it's kind of interesting to do, then why not? I deal with all kinds of dysfunctional behavior on my regular show. Admittedly, it's not criminal behavior, but it's dysfunctional, it's crazy. And so I don't think people would be shocked to hear me talking about people that do things that are weird. And so that's probably why. No matter what show I do, I'm always me. So it's not like I behave, for example, my show is a circus, but I never act crazy. You know, on the show, you don't see me fighting, you don't see me wallowing around in a bowl of jelly or whatever, you know, in the food fight. So, in other words, I'm a normal person in the midst of a circus. So now when I do this crime show, I'm a normal person talking about, you know, horrendous crimes that were committed. We're all the same. We just speak different languages. You could take, now there are some exceptions, particularly if a particular religion has a very powerful hold on the society. But if you take that situation away, you take 16 to 24-year-olds, okay? So you take 20 people in their late teens or early 20s from each country, and you put them into a room, and you had an interpreter. Within 25 seconds, they all will be talking about the same things. Young people will be talking about who they're dating. They'll be talking about sports. They'll be talking about where they're going to school, what kind of job they hope to get. Did you listen to that song? Isn't that cool music? Wow, you see that movie? Did you see what they put on Facebook, YouTube? We are all alike. I know our elders like to say, well, you're part of this country, and you're a part of that country, and therefore we have these traditions. Traditions are important, but in today's world, we are all alike. Only the accent is different. Only the language is different. There was no logic to my path. I had served 10 years as a city councilman and mayor of Cincinnati. At the end of my terms, the NBC came to me, took me to lunch one day, and said, when your terms are up, we would like you to anchor our news, figuring that if I had been the mayor of this city, I would know a lot about the city, and therefore people would come and get their news from me. So I'd never done anything like that before, and I said, well, I'll give it a try. So I started anchoring the news for the NBC affiliate in Cincinnati. I did it every night from 5:30 to 6:30 and 11 to 11:30. And all of a sudden, we became #1 in the ratings. And so for 10 years, we were very dominant in the news. The company that owned the station that I did the news on also owned talk shows. They owned Phil Donahue, Sally Jessy Raphael, whatever. Phil Donahue was getting close to retirement. So they took me to lunch again. These lunches are great. And they took me to lunch and said, Phil's getting close to retirement. We're going to start another talk show. You're going to host it. So I was assigned to it because I was an employee. And I said, but I like doing the news. They said, well, you can still do the news, but you'll do the show too, and we'll adjust the salary, etc. So in the morning I would get up, I'd fly to Chicago, tape the show, and then the afternoon fly back to Cincinnati because I had to do the news that night. And I did that 5 days a week for a couple of years, and then it just got too exhausting. So I figured, well, I've done the news long enough, and then I went full time to the show. So everything in my life has been handed to me in terms of jobs. The only job I went after was obviously being mayor. You have to run for that. But every other job, someone took me out and said, we want you to do this. So my life is nothing but luck. I have no talent. I think I'm a nice guy, and I think I'm reasonably bright, but I'm not talented. No one would have picked me out of a line in high school or college or law school and said, this kid's going to be in show business. So the whole thing's a fluke, and I'm enjoying the ride.